Good evening, Thomas. Welcome again to our next podcast. So, how are you today?
I'm great, fabulous. Thank you, Dharam. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Now I'm in Dallas and beautiful day. It's not that hot, sunny day outside, but sitting inside, watching outside is good. And talking
Yeah,
with you on this new topic is even better.
yeah. Thank you. So I'm not so lucky regarding the heat. I'm sitting in Germany in my attic, and we have 40 degrees Celsius outside, and
Ah.
tomorrow will be even over 40. So it's a hot day, and I'm lucky that we have cold water.
Yeah, cold water, exactly. No, only difference is it's new for you, and 40 degree is normal for us. And yeah, yeah,
In your region of the world, air conditioning is a normal thing, but we didn't use it so far. And also, we have very. I'm living in a very concrete house, with thick walls, and it's normally if I go in the basement, it's still now it's pretty cold. Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
So this can be one of the challenge. Uh, Too much relying on the technology.
Right. So and we have an energy crisis in Europe, as you know, from the press, in the current developments. So everybody now is buying stuff to be prepared, and
Yeah.
so they are buying electric heatings. But I say if we don't have gas, we also don't have electricity enough to do this kind of stuff. So it might be rationed
Yeah.
during winter when it's getting colder.
So yes, we are living in a challenging environment, and a lot of project managers they are facing different kind of challenges. And I thought it's a good idea to discuss some of the challenges we are facing in digital age.
Yeah.
Um, and last time we talked about future of project management. It's kind of continuation of where we left. So the people who are watching this webinar and this podcast probably like to see that as well. It's on also on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So please go through that, and you will find a lot of discussion we had around the future of project management.
Yeah, correct. So, yeah, last time we concluded with two or three suggestions, what project managers might do to prepare for the bright future, which we don't know what will be, but we know some let's say fences, some constraints where it will go. And one recommendation actually was to become a early adopter of anything in your area. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be digital or technological, but it could also be processes. So you could, if something new coming up like the Agile Manifesto 20 years ago,
Mm.
you at least read about it and make yourself knowledgeable, and maybe you try it out. It's a process, but also. Uh, and I always was an early adopter. I had my first phone, well, carry phone, in the beginning of the 90s of last century, and that was because I was working with IBM, and we were always also benefiting from the fact that IBM was on the leading edge of technology, and even for the individual. So
Yeah.
we had the first PC, personal computer we had, and actually this was a desktop, and then I remember well in the beginning of the 90s, I had the first carry-on laptop. It was
Yeah.
heavy like hell. I think 12 kilos or so, and the battery only lasted half an hour. But it was a nice piece of work.
Oh, you
And
probably
and and
felt,
then oh
privileged to have that kind of laptop. You can show, what, my
yeah,
computer is going with
well,
me.
I have to admit, it was a sign of being an IBMer. You could a little bit show off. So
Yeah.
I'm away with that. But what what is left over in my character is really to that I'm very interested in new stuff, and
Yeah.
trying out new stuff. So for instance, I have this black ring, and actually it's an Ura ring. If you didn't have not heard about it, it's 5 years old or so. and so it's monitoring my body symptoms, especially at night. So like heartbeat or my breathing or my O2 level of the blood, and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And in the morning, it's telling me how did I sleep. Well, sometimes I know how I did sleep, but they are
Yeah.
telling me things. Even if I think I slept well, they're telling me, "Oh, you had only the 5% REM time in yeah," and you need REM sleep because that's brain recovers, from all the impressions. If you lack this kind of sleep, then you have a problem. And you also need deep sleep, which is the opposite. REM sleep is a little bit, that you are not so uh, deep
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah, but deep sleep is helping your body recover. So if you, I had an accident last week, and I
Okay.
had some bruises. Nothing heavy, just falling with a bike. At my age, you tend to fall from the bike, as you see by Mr. Biden. Uh, even if you if you stand to fall out. I had some bruises on my knee and my
Yeah.
shoulder and so on. And the next night, you could see that this deep sleep increased a lot, and the body put priority and on recovering some things in my body. So this is technology. This is leading edge, and I think it helps in conscious awareness. And if we as humans want to be rational, as humans want to lead our life, we have to make sure that we get enough data to do that for our decisions. And the Oura Ring is just one source of
Okay.
that data.
Yeah. So having Ura Ring gives you data or information and tells you, if something good happened, it's also a good night, you had good sleep, as well as what challenges you're expecting, some early warnings, like, some you getting high blood pressure or this and that. That
Exactly.
tells you that something is coming. So you can be more ready. So something like this actually, and we have been talking about this artificial intelligence in the project management space. It's a very, very interesting area where, as a project manager, if you do not want to learn about, then you will kind of left out. But you should put your time and invest your time to learn about how can I improve my productivity by having a artificial intelligence or machine
Yeah.
learning enabled system, which can keep me informed or give me alerts, warnings, so I can take my action early, or or I mean, I can bring my project back on track. And
Sure.
that's what your Orion is talking about. Hey, no, Thomas, you having something coming up because your blood pressure going up,
Yeah.
and then you say you should take some medication or do some corrective
Yeah.
lifestyle
Yeah.
change. So these kind of things, what you are getting on the fingertips, you should have your, as a project manager, you should have on your fingertip all the information data which is helping you or going to help you, or about to happen, some signs early enough to make decisions faster.
Yeah. 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 And as a project manager, you normally look at your screen. You have your dashboard, you have your tools who give you the information, the data, and maybe you're looking at Excel sheets or whatever, earned value analysis and this kind of stuff. But there are modern stuff, and it's not only that your technical parameters of your project, so cost, schedule, and these are important, but it's more and more important, especially in these virtual times, that you have some data about your team, how they
Mm,
are interacting, how they are working together. And also here, in the last 10 years, I saw several tools that monitor the team um, cohesion and the team collaboration, and if some conflicts are coming up. So one tool, I think it's from the UK. It's called Perflow, Perflo. And what they do, they hook on your, let's say, MS Teams environment when you do this, or chat services on emails, and they analyze these communications. I'm not sure if they also have the voice analysis already embedded, but they identify tensions. They identify how good people work together. And like Ura, it's not the spot point that you see that in now that something happens, but it's also the tendency. Is there some change from previous behaviors? Do we have
Yeah.
do we see a change? And that's a very valuable information, because if you see that, maybe a conflict didn't break out yet, but
Mm.
oh, there's something brewing,
Something is happening. Something about to
and
happen.
and maybe I can step in before it blows up, and
Exactly.
just discuss with these guys. And actually, that was what you were doing all the time before, but without a tool. You were
Mm.
sitting in a meeting and you are watching your guys, and one of them, he's really dozing away, not paying attention, doing something else. And normally he is a good contributor, but in this meeting, he seems to be away, from somewhere else. Uh, you better notice that, and maybe you will find time to have a private chat with him or her
Yeah.
and ask you, okay, what's happening today? I saw that you might not be able to follow really, what's the matter? Can I help you? Or do
Yeah.
you want to share? Yeah, that's what leaders do. That they observe their people, they notice um, deviations from normal behavior, or if they even want to push some people into other areas.
Yeah.
And you can do that with a small team even. But if you have a big team, maybe a software will help you with that.
Yeah. So, Thomas, we talked about Excel-based information gathering or capturing or storage or making decision based on some static information. That was kind of, finishing up. New modern tools are coming up in the market with digital, which can give you the real-time information to you as a project manager, to you as a program manager, a portfolio manager, your senior managers can see what is actually happening in the project level. So, as a project manager, that's another something you have to be very careful that your information has to be up to date. Because if your C-level person is sitting there talking to some of this, shareholder meeting, and they look at the tool and they come across, hey, this project has a problem. Guess what? The call will come to you immediately, and your data is not up to date. And I'm sitting here and talking to this bunch of people, and I'm feeling. So you need
Yeah,
to be more aggressive with the time frame and keeping
yeah.
the real time information, and it's actually beneficial for the organization to make decisions based on the available current information. And and previously, I know you probably seen that you come to a meeting after 7 days, and in the 7 days, lot has happened. Something you should have escalated to me,
Yeah.
after just on that day, but you did, and some major catastrophe or some disaster happened.
Yeah.
And if you have a good system which can capture the information, give the information to the senior management of early warning, alerts, and they can help you with making decisions. So
While I think, Dharam, as a project or program management, I'm in the driver's seat. So it's my task to be like an octopus, to
right.
do everything and understand everything. And if you see the sponsor, he is in different role. So I would not necessarily give the sponsor access to direct to immediate data.
Not
Um,
all, not all, but relevant data. Yes,
yeah,
you have to be
even
careful.
even even not that, I had well, I consulted a project manager, and so he was working 30 days a month, on the project, and from these 30 days he spent half of them preparing for the next steering committee presentation. And and this was because the sponsor was the most important stakeholder. He provided support and money and whatever. So it's also my task to influence the sponsor and to give them what he needs.
Yeah,
Don't make it boring. And for that, it's maybe not appropriate to give him really access to the real time info, to any real time information. Everything what is presented is a presentation to him for a purpose of the project.
Yeah.
But you don't know if you let others like the audit team or whatever look into the real time information, I would be very careful.
Yeah. No, look, we have to be careful what information to be shared with whom. And in the system we are talking about, new system we're talking about, you can actually have role-based access. And you don't want to share some costing information, you don't want to share some information. But at the same time, they like to see the real-time information about a particular thing they're waiting for. Instead of waiting for you to send an email, they already have the information, you come to the meeting, instead of you prepare for the PowerPoint and everything, he or she has already seen that information. Instead of
Yeah.
talking about each and everything, hey, let's talk about this thing which is more important, and meeting can finish in 15 minutes instead of 1 hour of discussion and explaining everything. So that's what I'm talking about, having real-time information. And I probably talked about this system, VXDCC, and that's one of the tools which can give you role-based information with alerts and warnings, and identifying the risk, having real-time information. So that kind of system can actually make your you don't I see some hesitation in your mind. Hey, what if my sponsor come to know about my project weakness? No, it's not, because they are putting the money. They have a right to know what's happening about my project, and because he or she is the most important person in the program or project, so they have a right to know about it. But yes, what information should be going out to whom, when, that is something you have to work out within the platform or system. So you share what you want to share with the other person. So yeah, of
Yeah.
course we can talk about the
But
tools and
I think there has to be a balance. If
yeah,
you say they have a right to do that, look at your car. And you might say, I have the right to understand what my car is thinking, but you don't get this access, and the car manufacturers will never share what's going on in the all network computerized system, when the car is going up and getting a new update or whatever,
yeah.
they will not share it with the driver or the owner or whatever. They might share it with the insurance company once you have an accident. But,
Look, that's where the whole system has to think about what to share, what not to share. If they get real time information, like doctor, when they come to know about your health, uh, yes, they make some decision based on your aura readings, because they get the access, direct access. But they should be telling you. They should not be hiding. Hey, why I'm giving you this medication? Because we saw some,
sure,
your
sure.
BP going up, and then this is what you should be doing to avoid that happening. So it is, it's a mindset change. It's not just having a tool which gives the real-time information. It is the mindset change as well. That's what we're talking. Digital age is not just it's all excitement. There's some challenges as well. So that how to, as a project manager, you need to be careful what to share, what not share, and at the same time, you are want to improve the productivity of your team and your project program and organization. You want to focus more on the things which are adding value to your project and program, not just doing some administrative work on
Well,
a Friday
yes,
morning.
we are also talking a little bit here about data privacy, and who
Exactly.
who gets to see which data, and data privacy as a part of also, preserving respect for the individual and ownership of data and all that.
Uh,
That's about ethics, a little bit.
absolutely.
Do
Absolutely.
we protect the human values and rights of this person, and does he have control about who can see what about himself?
Yeah.
So, and I think data privacy was there 20 years ago, but it was not really so big topic because we didn't have internet and
Oh, yeah.
Facebook, all the stuff, and cars, and to be honest, I think my car knows a lot of from me, which I don't like that they know it, and I'm sure, if I run over somebody, have a big accident, whatever, this is being freely shared with authorities and insurance companies.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
have no chance really to pretend I didn't speed to 200 kilometers per hour.
Exactly. Yes. If you do of course, that's what the scary part is with the technology. the data privacy, data security is another challenge where many companies
Yeah,
are suffering because of this spamming happening or the hacking happening. So as a project manager, when
yeah,
you're building a new system, new application, you need to be careful about how I'm going to ensure the integrity of the data or
yeah,
security of data is maintained. That's
exactly.
where the vulnerability testing, volume testing, these testing can become more and more important for the projects.
And that's even with the tool I talked about this Pavlo tool, going across the team and seeing if there are conflicts brewing. This team could identify individuals, but it would uh, probably be a big breach of confidential data, individual
Mm,
data. So it has to be somehow, the reporting has to be de-individualized. The team is okay, but reporting an individual as a bully. What are you
yeah.
doing with that? There's also an ethical thing. You should avoid bullying on your team, but what if you identify a bully? If you identify it, it's okay, and you would act probably would go to the guy and
Yeah.
tell, yeah, discuss with it. But if the tool detects him, can you are you allowed to use that data for the benefit of the others?
So look, every technology will come with some pros and cons, such as we have CCTV camera everywhere, and they are our protection, but at the same time, it can be used against you because you did something which you should not have done. So again, as the technology evolving and new things are coming, yes, you need to use it. You need to know what are the pros and what are the cons, and how can I avoid minimize the impact of the negative part of that.
Yeah,
So something, as we growing, getting in more into everybody talking digital transformation and many things happening in that space. So data is becoming more and more important. The decisions are
right.
made based on data. So that's why another skill you need as having data science skill. So you should able to understand the data and make the decision based on that.
Yeah. Dharam, let me ask you a question, about your business, because you have a business, you are helping people by coaching, by teaching, whatever, giving advice to pass the exams and to learn about the project and program portfolio management specifics. How much have you now introduced digital tools, digital environments during the past 2 years, when we had this corona? I understand that all your classes are in your workshops, they are digital, per Zoom or whatever. But is there more you do?
Yeah, so of course, almost everything is now digital. Like yeah, the meeting class is all happening. A podcast, more about podcast. So
Podcast.
yeah, podcast, webinars, all part of the digital. My business, as you know, is based on people trusting the services and the passing the exam and word of mouth. And more I can get that out in the public by having digital, all this what you call uh, using LinkedIn and social media, people talking about my services, my program, and that's where more people come. So marketing team has to be very much into the digital.
Yeah.
What is happening, what's not happening, what's the trend, where the skills are growing. So yeah, that's all happening. Those finances and all manage. You have to manage using digital.
So
So
how
yeah.
how many people do you have in your marketing team?
There are few. I think let's not talk about it. It's actually big
Yeah,
team. They have to work really hard and come to the
but it's
point.
it's 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 more than one. You
Oh
have a
yeah, yeah.
team.
You cannot do everything. If a
Well,
single
I'm
person.
I'm asking for the purpose, to look at if I see the program, a bigger project, they might have the need to do marketing for themselves, even if they are working in the public space, that if they're doing something like that. So I saw that project marketing is
Mm,
is a topic often overseen, but I also saw that some projects, especially construction, if they are building a road, and it's very important that they inform the public that are driving by, and they have big billboards and they tell
Oh
us,
yeah.
okay, we will finish at this date, so and so many cars, and after that you will be saving half an hour of drive or whatever. They are showing the benefits, they are showing the progress, they are showing what will happen in the future, and it's all driven by sometimes huge marketing teams and even agencies they are contracting.
Yeah. So, they have to look at the trend. Like they have to see who is the right person to, take your services. So, I think I told Bernard, I'm currently working with Universal Studio, the team of project manager. They are all working in the marketing space. And, the Universal Studio all about, the theme parks and the all the theaters and movies and everything. So they have to work really hard. It seems, hey, why they have to do marketing? Because they already set marketing by having movies and everything. But they have to work really hard to get people into the theme park at the right time, make more people, more money. So it's all data driven. They have to collect lots of data, trend,
Mhm.
who, the which ages is more, how can we target our toddlers? How can we target our, the young adults, and the moms and dads, what they will do if they come here. So they have to have rely on heavily on the data. And even though they are project manager, even though they have the team of marketing, but they have to learn about digital, what is happening and what are the trends, what are the uh, how much data they have to collect, and they have a team who just work on the data to see the trend,
Right.
which is the best period for this kind of a rollout. If you release it after summer vacation, what's the point? Just before Christmas, just before summer vacation. Yeah.
So the point is, if I'm a project manager and I understand that dealing with challenges in the digital age includes having a professional marketing, data-driven marketing, and understanding what's going to happen. Maybe I'm not really capable to learn it or becoming a good specialist in this area. So maybe that's then when I hire or contract a role for that, somebody who can really do it um, and help me with marketing, help me analyze my data and drive this forward. But
Yeah.
I have to include him in the project, and they have to understand what's going on, what the plans are, what the hiccups are, and develop a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
And it's also the same if you look at big organizations and they get a disaster. So let's say a breach in data, whatever, somebody hacked the system and stole the customer data, or they
Mm.
are producing yogurts and the yogurts are polluted. They have to do something. So that's very important that they have a quick and fast marketing strategy for these kinds of events. And there are specialist firms who are doing that,
Yeah.
whom inform who is going, maybe the CEO is the only guy who can authentically, convey that message to the customers, and apologize and whatever, and show up the steps that are going to happen. So there are proven methods to do that. And I think also here, the project manager should not assume, even if that's all in the digital age, it's all digitally supported, that he alone can do that. He has
Yeah.
to obtain the right support.
Yeah. And a couple more skills is, such as the emotional intelligence is becoming more and more important because people are working from home, in isolation, and as a you need to have leadership skills. You can interact with each of them and collaborate with them and understand what's going on with them. So the emotional intelligence is another skill I think as a project manager should look into, because otherwise, if you not, you just rely on the traditional way of how asking the team, when can I have my delivery? Why it's not happening? We should have to you have to complete by tomorrow evening or today evening. Then you have a broken team.
Yeah.
So you need to see what's happening with this person in the personal life and physical life,
Right.
mentally. In mental problems are going on, a lot of depressions and other things going on. As a project manager, you should appreciate what other people are going through and maybe give them helping hand. Listen to them, what's going on.
How can you develop or enforce or not enforce, develop or support emotional intelligence with in digital environments? It's even getting worse if you see that all the meetings that have been face to face went into
Yeah,
Zoom. You might see people, but
yeah,
even you might not see people. I just have a new member on a team I'm working on, and actually he is a Sikh. And Sikhs, they have long hair and they
okay,
wear
yeah,
turban. They have a very coded behavior when presenting themselves in public. And you can't just do a Zoom call with them on the fly, because they need maybe 30 minutes to set themselves up to be available, or you only hear the voice, and
yeah,
there's all this disturbing, and it's giving a wrong image of them maybe. So yeah, so there are some hurdles coming up, in interpersonal communication. On the other hand, the Zoom meeting can be in the evening or, yeah, at any time. While these face-to-face meetings, you had to schedule, book a meeting room, whatever, and it normally was from 9 to 5.
yeah,
So you have now more opportunities, but also some more challenges to overcome to get everybody involved, so that you can exploit your emotional intelligence and use it, and well, and even then, not in the same way,
mm, yeah.
you used before.
So definitely, one of the skill project managers should look into the soft skills and how can I be better listener and communicator,
Yeah,
especially as you say, people are sitting not in the same room, they are outside. So when you talk, let's say if I call you, I have to understand what state of mind you are in. You may be, coming out from a very upsetting meeting with a customer, and you don't want to talk to anybody else. So I need to understand this before I start communicating. So that's where listening to the tone and try to gaze out of the conversation or if I'm looking from
yeah,
your facial expression, then accordingly I have to adopt my talking to
right,
you.
right. Well, that's why, when I'm doing Zoom meetings with more than two people, then I'm always on the WhatsApp uh, in parallel, because maybe I have to address somebody in personal,
Mm,
while he is there, and I could do it through chat in Zoom, but it's not so convenient as just have the WhatsApp window
yeah,
open and do something,
yeah, yeah,
and I think it's very helpful, and I use it quite often in the Zoom meetings.
yeah. And what do you think about innovative mindset? More and more people talking about innovation. And do you
Yeah.
think
But
it's one of the area where project manager should look into?
yeah, innovation, if you don't have this innovative mindset, as you were calling that, then you can't be a proactive guy who is an early adopter of technology,
Yeah,
because it doesn't come to your mind that you could try out something, that you could have a new way of doing things or try out new tools. Um,
exactly.
but let me comment on the term mindsets, and because we are hearing about a lot of mindsets, innovation mindsets and agile mindset and growth mindset and whatever. I heard you Google it and you woof, have a lot of books and theories and everything. What I think, we don't have one mindset. A mindset is nothing else as a perspective you are taking, a point of view. I'm looking out this window, and that's my mindset now. I'm looking at the trees. I'm looking here at the Zoom again. I'm seeing you, and the nice picture. And so this is my focus and my way of thinking in that moment. And one of the uh, skills, if you want, capabilities we have to develop is, as project managers, is to be able to switch mindsets, to switch perspectives in the moment, So maybe each day when I'm at work, you have different situations. I use maybe 20 mindsets, 20 perspectives, and being able to change perspectives, helps you in a lot of because perspectives that some people like Russia, some people like Ukraine, and then you can't sit on the fence and it's either or. No, it's not. The world is not bipolar. There are many views on the world, and if you want to be respectful, you have to listen. And you don't have to draw up your curtain and say, well, you have an opinion that's different from mine. I don't listen to you, and I don't try to understand what you're saying, and maybe I don't even am open to maybe change my thinking a bit with the information I get from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so developing this kind of ability to quickly change mindsets, perspectives, way of thinking, that's a very important capability for project managers.
Yeah, that's adaptability, and as the situation change, and current market is very fast. You realize that you moving toward one direction to release your product, and a competitor release the product to the market much better than yours and much cheaper. What do? Continue to spend money on that, or be able to restructure and reshape it, or maybe pivot from that.
Right. So this kind of capability of changing mindsets, or also the capabilities you mentioned, from emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness and self-control and empathy and influencing others, and other capabilities. They were bulked together, or there is a set of capabilities of 10 capabilities, which was written about by a team of researchers, which are psychologists in a German famous clinic in Berlin, and they wrote a book in therapies for mentally ill. And these 10 therapies are exactly what we talked about, these changing mindsets, empathy things, and others. And they say, if our patients, are therapied with these kind of behavioral change or perception change, whatever, mental illness fades away, and so a point of becoming mentally stable, mentally well-being, is to apply these 10 capabilities. They wrote about that's their book, their scientific book. And interesting enough, they call this state, if you reach that state of mentally good health, then they call that wisdom. So if you want to read about it, we can share documents for sure. And undoubtedly, this book is in German only. It's a scientific book in German, but I wrote a small article in LinkedIn about it, so that's on my profile.
Yeah, perfect. Good. So thank you. It was good discussion. Another good discussion. I like this free-flowing talking discussion about a topic which many people likes it. So thank you for bringing your knowledge and expertise in this area. And I think people should found this discussion very useful, especially you wanted to excel in as a project manager. What are the things you can do to overcome this the challenges coming from the digital age? Yes, we talk about all these new tools and digital transformation, VXDCC, and all kind of things. Yes, you have to be careful what to share, what not to share, and emotional intelligence, something very important. And I love that part, because if you don't have a right team, emotionally stronger, you may not able to produce the expected results. You need to work with your team, make sure that they are capable and strong mindset. And we talked about various mindsets as well. Digital mindset,
and
agile mindset,
and mindsets and wisdom and all the stuff. These are human capabilities, it will not be easy for AI or for digital things, to help us with that.
Yeah,
And so it will be easy to help us with budgets and other stuff, and even understanding other people. But it will not be easy to help us become mentally healthy.
yeah. I mean, the days are not far away when you as a project manager get a report from your virtually or remote team sitting. Hey, we, as per the observations this morning, we see that the team, somebody is not mentally, is strong. He needs some time, personal time. So, that kind of information can be useful for you,
Sure.
the project
Yeah.
manager before you interact with the person. So,
And the mentally problems have grown during Corona because
yeah,
many people, some people coped quite well with it, or they enjoyed it, or they were anti-fragile with it. They blossomed up. They would get more productive and inventive and whatever. But other people, maybe with problems in the private area, with the kids and so on, they became they had mental problems, and the mental problems grew. There's statistics about it.
yeah,
So people, health specialists, are telling us about it.
yeah. So that's what important for a project manager to understand how the teams are performing, if they are going through a particular, medical situation which need attention. Yes, you cannot handle every situation, but as a project manager, if you know there's something is coming, you take your action. You know there's a risk, there's a issues, and all kind of things. So, fantastic. Thank you very much, Thomas, again, having this kind of discussion, and looking forward for more and more discussions to bring more topics to talk about. And yeah, if people are finding this discussion useful, yeah, please put your comments, call us, tell us, message on LinkedIn, reach out to Thomas, reach out to me for anything, any assistance, any viewpoint you have about the topic. Love to know your viewpoint as well. And yeah, so until next time, you know, keep
Yeah,
smiling, keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy your day.
yeah. Develop
Thank
your
you.
wisdom. Thank you.
Develop your wisdom. Exactly. Develop your wisdom. Thank you very much, Thomas. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Take care.